A while ago, I went to Skater Migration 2024, and when I was there, I was hanging out with Rollerblade and I had a chance to try out their brand new Rollerblade Lightnings. At the time, they were pre-release models, they were preview models. I got to use them all throughout Skater Migration. I really like them, but unfortunately, at the end of the event, I had to return them. A few months later, a few too many, I finally got my hands on my own pair. So let's get to unboxing these skates. Let's see what comes in the box. First off, we have this Rollerblade manual, which no one will ever read. It comes with a brake in the box. I think they're marketed to intermediate to advanced, but I'll definitely say they're intermediate skate. And a brake coming in the box is an indicator. If you get advanced skates, there's usually no brake in it because they assume you're not, you're beyond that. So there's a brake, which I'm also never going to use. We have these footboard sizers. Now, these skates are technically dual sized. The ones I got are the size 9 and the 9.5. So I'm a 9, and these footboard sizers will help increase the volume inside and make them fit a bit more snug. And up next, we have the included hardware. There's always a little packet here with additional stuff. There's literally one Allen key in here. That's all we have for this box. And the final thing we have in the box, besides the skates, is this start guide, which has some pretty good advice. They have a rotation pattern here at the bottom, which is also useful because I've met too many beginners who obviously didn't look at this paper and never rotated their wheels. And finally, we're gonna get to the last thing in the box, which are the skates. So here we have the 2024 Rollerblade Lightnings. These aren't the ones I used in Miami. In Miami, I was rolling 80 millimeters the whole time. Besides the wheel size preference, I kind of like the colorway a bit more. It's like black and yellow, and I feel like it goes with the name Lightning. This colorway it's okay. It's not as flashy. The Lightnings are actually an old boot that Roller used to have, and just paying homage to it. So one of the newest features is actually these quick release buckles. It's funny how there's a QR code here to show the instructions on how to actually use them. I've ran into several people who were using these buckles that didn't know the level of adjustability they actually had. When you open the buckle, it's like your basic buckle, right? But instead of going in to a receiver, this has a hook on it. I don't know if you guys can see the hook. And on the opposite side of this skate, there's 3 latches that it can catch onto right here. So one might think, oh, well, the level of adjustability is pretty low because there's only 3 levels of adjustability here. And that's what most people think, unfortunately, because they never actually look at the skate. Now, if we flip back to the other side, right here, we can see under the clip, there's a small adjustable point here. You just push this button here and it slides forward and back. And this is where you do the smaller adjustments. And then once you have it locked on, then it is on this side where there's bigger adjustments. Now, eventually, you'll put on the skates and you'll fine tune it. And then when it's time to go, it's as simple as throwing the buckle over, catching it, and then latching it. Previously, on other skates, you have to push it in and then keep on pushing it in until you find the right pressure or the right tightness and then pulling the latch back. Here, this memory buckle makes it faster. It's always preset, so all you have to do is put it in and pull it back, and it's always as tight as you want it. Having used it for about, like 3-4 days collectively, over 100 miles probably, I can tell you that it's secure and it's safe and it stays. You don't have to constantly be adjusting it. You don't have to worry about it coming loose. It just does its job and it works pretty well. All right, so let's get a thorough and full look at these skates. I'm gonna start taking them apart and then we're gonna take a closer look. All right, here we have the liner, okay? It's pretty stiff. It's made out of that foam you would normally find in skates. Nothing too special. The top is reinforced right here, which is a great idea because oftentimes when you're skating, this part here has the most friction due to the flex in the cuff. It's pretty thick and padded throughout, so it's nice and padded everywhere. You could, if you want to, have additional support by lacing them up to the top. Overall, I was pretty happy with this liner. Up next, we have the footbed. Now this footbed is found in a lot of their intermediate to advanced skates. I believe it's called a PSI footbed. Not too thick, some foam padding. You don't want it to be too thick because it'll make your skates feel squishy. And then it has this thicker part here, which is like a reinforced felt for reinforcement of the arch area and the heel cup. So as far as the boot itself goes, it's firm, but it's not as hard as something like the Twister is. The Twister is a really stiff boot. This is definitely not as stiff, but still supportive. And as you can see, it also has all these cutout vents on it, much more than something like the Twister, something more akin to something like the Maxim. So all these vents here, nice ventilation throughout on the other side too. So your feet can breathe. And also here on the bottom, like many other urban/rec skates, we do have this replaceable slide guard here. Up next, we're gonna look inside the boot. As all the urban skates go, the Rollerblade makes inside the heel, there is a shock absorber. This is found in a lot of their urban models and rec skates. It's nice and supportive, squishy, and it's actually molded to the boot itself. It sits in there perfectly and locks into the molding. There's actually cutouts for it. As you can see, this contact point, the mounting point, is actually built into the boot. It cannot be removed. It's kind of stuck in there. This mounting point is none like I've seen before on other Rollerblades. Not only is it much larger, it is actually integrated into the boot itself. So there is no way for me to remove this. It is just in there, which is pretty cool. Now that we're talking about the mounting points, I guess we're gonna go to what's next, which is the frame. Now this is 4x90. It is a 90 millimeter wheel max frame, and it is 280 millimeters long. So one of the biggest differences, obviously, between the 90 millimeter and the 80 millimeter variant Lightnings is that the 90 millimeter version comes with improved wheels. So these are hydrogen SE wheels, and they also include SG9 bearings. The 80 millimeter version comes with generic Rollerblade wheels and SG7s. So this is quite the big improvement. Not only are they larger, but they're a better quality, and the bearings are better quality. I do find that this boot is a little wider than something like the Twisters, which I'm currently riding. So if that is your concern, if you have a wide foot, this may be a better option for you. I kind of wish that the toe didn't taper off so much. Me personally, I'm a big fan of like that natural toe spread and minimalist shoes. So it's kind of hard for me to be converting forward and back between the two, because a lot of skates like tapering, some more aggressively than others. This does taper, but I've seen much worse. But initially it is pretty wide, so if you have a wide foot, I think it'll be good for you. So this concludes my unboxing of my new Rollerblade Lightning 90. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, please leave a comment below. I'm gonna try to get to a review video. I'm pretty bad at making review videos. I'll do unboxings and then I'll get lazy. But if you wanna see one, please remind me, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.